Up next, Mr. Gurjit Singh Dhingra, Assistant Director, Canon India. His subject is going to be inkjet for commercial printers. A printing technologist, Gurjit started his journey as a pre-press professional, touching all key operations from operating scanners to managing end-to-end color management and CTP operations before he decided to take a big leap and change his career by joining Canon. He has worked in various functions at Canon India, and currently he is Assistant Director of Canon India, responsible for marketing for production equipment and printing equipment. Over to Gurjit Singh Dhingra. Welcome, Gurjit.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible? Yes, you are. So, subject line is inkjet for commercial printer. How many of you are commercial printer here or book printer? Today, the line is getting very thin between. Thank you. Do you really think this topic is relevant in today's circumstances? If you say yes, I'll stay here. If you say no, I'll step down. There's no point talking. Thank you so much for keeping me here for some time. Even if you would have said no, मैं यहीं खड़ा रहता, मैं जाता नहीं. I will start my presentation with a lot of some market insights and trends, what is going around and happening worldwide at a global level. Important is not the numbers. Important is the key message which is coming out of the trends. Because understanding those trends will decide the future fate of your organization, how you want to shape up your future, and what is needed to take a next leap in your businesses. That is very, very important. We had a very encouraging presentation from Milab Bhai. We had a very great presentation from Sefi sir. They actually made my life quite easy. What I wanted to talk today about the hybrid environment and web to print services and all, most of the topic has already been substantiated by them. So I'm just going to take that discussion forward from here onward. Okay. If we start off a worldwide print market, this is what is the situation in terms of the print volume in A4. 44.4 trillion pages in 2023 going to 44.9, and digital 1.7 trillion going to 2.2. The CAGR is 6% and 0%. In terms of the value, euros, 785 billion euros going up to 881 billion euros for analog, and 132 billion euros going to 164 billion euros in digital. How relevant these numbers are? Maybe not that relevant for our discussion's sake. Important is this message. Transformation is not the end of old, but the beginning of new. Your offset is not going to go away anywhere soon. It is going to stay there. The only thing is that digital is creating its own space. And that's what Sefi sir mentioned about it. Did your offset got hampered because of the induction of HP Indigos? Answer is big no. And you talk to any of the printer who has got both offset as well as the digital equipment, so-called the hybrid environment, they have only grown. They have grown multiple folds from here onwards. And the fact of the matter is, digital train has left the station, and the time will tell whether it is, and based on the country where we are, whether it is running at a speed of Shinkansen or it is running at a speed of Rajdhani or Shatabdi of India. That all we need, as a community, we need to decide upon how fast we are going to take this transformation in our journey. As a result of it, what actually is happening and what is actually driving that growth? A very interesting one. And these are worldwide numbers. For Indian perspective, the numbers could be a little different. More than 75% of the jobs today on a B3 format are less than 2,000 quantity. This is the worldwide data. And the reason I am talking about, especially about the B3, because B3 is very close to the most of the digital format, if we forget about the B2 formatting toner-based machines that are available in the market. Majority of the digital today is hovering around B3. Almost 99.9% equipment are in the B3 format. For India, the numbers could be different. This is the worldwide trend. In B1 format, 60% is less than 2000. And what is the end result? There's another story behind this. And as a result of all this transition which is happening, the sheet fed sales has started declining. The offset unit sales has started declining, coming down from 2.6 billion to 2.25 billion. But an interesting point here is that installations are growing in the packaging space. Commercial, it is declining. Now, look at another interesting aspect of it. Now, this is the segmentation breakout. If analog, if we see, packaging is the major contributor in terms of the print volume. It's almost like, in terms of the value and volume both, it's almost like 58% contribution is coming from the packaging, followed by your commercial and then the publishing. Whereas in digital, the situation totally changes. Commercial is actually driving the growth in digital. A big difference, gentlemen. In analog space, packaging is driving the growth. Packaging is actually catering to the majority of the volume. In digital, it's commercial, it's not packaging. Packaging still need to take a leap as far as the digital is concerned. Now, another interesting story. There's a big paradigm shift which is coming up. And it started already happening. If you look at the graph on the bar chart on the 2023 side, these are the installation of B2, B3 toner machines, the gray and the red one, and the darker gray and the black one are the inkjet ones. See what is happening in 2028. There's a big leap coming up, expected to come up in the B3 inkjet format and the B2 inkjet format. What does this mean? What does that mean? It means inkjet has started penetrating into the laser space. And it is not only penetrating the laser space, it is also pulling up the volume from the offset for sure, because transitions are happening, personalizations are increasing, hyper-personalizations are increasing. So, this is another, sorry, before I get to that. This is the Asia Pacific print application overview. Commercial, of course, we know that is the major contribution as far as the digital is concerned. Important is this part. In Asia Pacific also, may not be an India story right now, but in Asia Pacific itself, which includes Singapore and all the Indonesia and other countries, 24% is already started shifting into an inkjet, which clearly says that transition is coming. It's on the way. It's already getting established in the market. 2012, when inkjet was first sort of introduced for the commercial market, inkjet primarily before 2012 was more on the security printing side of it. Utility bills and insurance and telecoms and all. Those people mostly, because quality parameters were not up to the mark of the requirement of the commercial printer. After 2012 Drupa, first time inkjet started getting inroads into some bit of commercial applications which were not that quality conscious. Not that quality conscious, maybe some magazines or something like that. But the way it has transformed, it's an absolute paradigm shift, and I'll talk about it a little later. So two facts are established quite clearly. Commercial printing is the major contributor of digital printing and has the maximum potential to grow. And second fact which is established today is inkjet is penetrating the laser space, gentlemen. So please be prepared for that. It is coming up. It might come 1 year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, time will tell. I cannot say anything about it. But the way it is shaping up, who thought of 2 years before that inkjet in India for the book space would ramp up like this? Today, in last 2 years, we have 20 plus odd installations have come up. Amazing. Who thought of it before? So change, the way with the speed the change is coming, we never ever anticipated in the past. So now park these two facts that we have developed just now for a while. How many of you will agree with me on this slide? What are you thinking these days? Are these challenges with all of you? Say yes or no. Common challenges all of you are struggling and facing today? Why is it so? Because these are the main reasons. More jobs are coming, but most of them are short runs. Customer demanding wide range of products. If you are a only offset printer and somebody gives you a job of hyper personalization, how do you do it? You can't do it unless you have a digital equipment in place. Somebody is asking for iske upar foiling kar do, UV kar do. How do you do it until unless you have a embellishment equipment available with you or some conventional way available with you? So how many things you can have it in your ecosystem? That's a challenge people are struggling right now. As Safi sir was saying, there were certain things we were outsourcing in the past to get an understanding. So the challenges are big. Consolidation, labor problem. In the post-COVID circumstances, I think you all would agree with me, labor challenge has become a biggest challenge. Am I right or wrong? In the post-COVID circumstances. So these are the various challenges. Delivery time, the most interesting part. सुबह ही सर फोन, सर वो प्रिंट हो गया, सर फाइल कहाँ है, वो कल आएगी. Printing आज चाहिए, फाइल कल आएगी. That's the kind of situation we are living in today, right? Am I right? Okay. So, what does this mean? We understand all these problems are there. We need to change the way we do business. We don't have a choice. We never seen such an era where so many challenges will prop up all of a sudden. So what we need to do, we need to challenge our assumptions, question the conventional wisdom that we are having, and embrace the change that is coming up. We don't have a choice, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not. We don't have a choice, right? So, how do we do it? Easy to say. Differentiation is the key to success. Easy to say. Very easy to say. Very difficult to implement. Very difficult to create an environment and do things with a differentiation. What we need to do, we need to change the way we do business, and we need to be more smarter with our processes. The apt example is what Safi sir was talking about. And I loved his presentation because he touched about AI everywhere. Because the future is end-to-end, gentlemen. We have to handle the jobs with minimal intervention. We have to talk of web to print so that you can connect with your buyer directly. Gone are the days, if you keep on taking 2 to 3 days for submitting an estimation and to and fro and all that, very high probability you are going to lose that job, 100%. That's true. Nobody has the time. We are as I said, we are living in an era where printing is required today, file will come tomorrow. We are living in that era now. So until unless we don't look at those aspects and we go for an automation, how do we do it? We need an automation. We need an automation so that we can reduce our labor cost, maximize the productivity, and human errors. So, what choice do we have? We have to convert. If we have to sustain, if we have to remain relevant in the market, we have to convert all these challenges to opportunities through technology adaptation so that we become a yes man. We can't say no. With today's circumstances, we can't say no to our customer for any job. The moment you say no to a customer for any job, he's gone. That's for sure. Because you are opening him an opportunity to explore the market, and once he has explored the market, very high probability he will not come to you. Even if he comes, he'll squeeze you on the price like anything. You are putting him in a situation, in a comfortable situation of negotiation. Not a good circumstance to be. And what is required and must today is, of course, the quality, wide range of media and flexibility. These are given circumstances. What we need now is, we need a reliable and faster production systems with a lower TCO, so that you can, from a print service provider to a print consultant, and offer value-added services to your customer. That's what Milabh Bhai is not here. He was talking about in the morning today, that how value he has created for his customer, so that you can come out of a fight of negotiation of per print cost to a overall chain of production, overall value chain that you can offer. What is the definition of a value chain? Supply chain management. 1 copy चाहिए, 2 copy चाहिए, 3 copy चाहिए, जिसको चाहिए, जहां चाहिए, वहां पहुंचाएंगे. Is it possible through the manual operations? Next to impossible. Next to impossible. You need to get there. So, the big question for today is, can inkjet technology help commercial printer answer these? Because your equipment, the automation is not about just connecting customer to your place through web to print services. Your further systems also need to be capable enough to take the input. It's not only about receiving the file. It is also that the whole chain need to be automated. So is the new inkjet systems which are coming, the technology which is coming, is able to adapt or accept those chain of communication? That's the main aspect. That is the key aspect. And inkjet, for all reasons, before some time, was not very well accepted or welcomed by the commercial printer because of various reasons. And I'll come to it. To take you to that story, let me go through the technology evolution. In case of offset, I hope you all would agree with me. Productivity, no problem. Media flexibility, no problem. Quality, no problem. Variable content, can you do variable on offset? No, you cannot. Laser, of course, you can produce high quality. Many of you who are using digital, you can do high quality, you can do variable content, you have media flexibility, no problem. You can run coated, uncoated, texture paper, metallic paper, PET medias, non-terrible, whatnot. Whatever you need, you can do it. But beyond a point, can you give the productivity other than the high-end B2 presses? With the B3 formats, can you give a productivity beyond a point? Probably no. Generation 1 and 2 inkjets, which was 2012 till 2020 kind of inkjets, quality was okay, variable content no problem, productivity was okay, media flexibility, big question mark. Most of the inkjets were designed for uncoated stock. Most of the inkjets. But story has changed a lot in last 2, 3, 4 years. The current generation of inkjets have an answer for all the blocks that you are looking for. And for commercial printer today to be successful in the market, they need all to be green. Otherwise, even if there is one block, commercial printer is not going to accept it. So today's inkjet is actually capable of doing and delivering whatever the commercial printer is looking for. Now let us understand this inkjet technologies from various parameters. First one is the quality. Today's inkjet can actually offer the quality media-specific uniform control across all medias, most of the medias. Today, uncoated media was like a nightmare on the inkjet. Today, coated media is like cakewalk, no problems. Textured medias, coated medias, uncoated medias, no problems at all. And the quality that you get, I can guarantee you, I have certain samples after this presentation or during break time. You can come and I can show you. The quality, if you look at, you'll be zapped. Trust me. Because there are the technologies which has come up like the smart pre-coat system, the inline calibration and nozzle checks and all that stuff. I'm not going too much into the technical aspect of it. That's not required today. We can have a separate discussion on all those things. Are so good that you hardly find any artifact in the inkjet technology. The biggest fear was, sir, wo line aa jayega, wo white line to nahi aa raha, wo ye to nahi aa raha. Now we don't have. The technology has graduated so much that you hardly find any artifacts in terms of the quality on these inkjet printouts. Now let's talk about the productivity. Workflow systems and the RIP systems which are coming along with the inkjet today, of course, it varies from brand to brand. I'm talking about the multinational brands right now, more on that side of it, are so good and so great that it can really cater to the speed of the engines like anything, and it can really help you do the automation to create that value chain that we are talking about. Otherwise, there's no point. You cannot have a half automation and then run the story. Yes, you can up to a certain extent, but it will not give you that feel of the completion end to end. It's not about end to end. Remote diagnostic system for the faster uptime, because today is like as I'm sorry, I'm again and again referring your presentation because it was so good and so relevant for everybody here. Uptime is the most important. 3 days, 4 days, the HP 12,000 was down. They were forced to take the decision of another machine. Why? Why? Because they cannot let their customer wait for so much of a time. Today, nobody has a time. Your machine needs to be up and running. You need to have a maximum uptime and productivity coming from your machine, and that's why you would invest mammoth money. These are huge investments. These are not small investments, right? Let's talk about the versatility. Today, inkjets are available in cut shed, roll fed, whatever you need. All formats are available. Wide range of media flexibilities, as I mentioned. And I can show you samples. We can meet after this and during the break time. I can show you the samples. Wide range of media is easily possible. Last but not the least is the sustainability. We all have a moral responsibility towards it, being a printer, being a manufacturer. And that's the most important aspect. So, as far as sustainability, and if we're really bothered about the sustainability and we're really interested in talking about it, the most important is the paper saving. Yes or no? That's the first, as a printer, that's the most relevant thing we should talk about as far as the sustainability is concerned. And these systems, when they start running, they ramp up, there's a lot of paper wastages which happen. It's a crime. It's anti-sustainability aspect. So we need to have today's inkjet systems, they can actually start from, say, 0. As the speed is ramping up, printing is happening simultaneously without any paper wastage, and you can really save tons of paper. And that's a great contribution to the environment. Power. Power is, again, an important aspect. Today's systems are so smart in terms of power saving that it can save a lot of money. Power consumption is sheer waste of money. And we need to have systems which can cater to all these things. So, gentlemen, today's inkjet is not just a printhead firing ink on a piece of paper. It's way beyond that. Trust me, it's way beyond that. Only important thing is that you need to identify the right technology. With due respect to all the vendors available who are present here, you have many. But important is to identify the right technology and the partner in journey. There will be a people who will talking about printhead firing ink on paper, but that's not what you should envisage for. And that's not what is required for a great transformation as far as the organization is concerned. I'll take you through one reference case, a very interesting reference case. Pixel Printing is a division, is a subsidiary of Simpress Group. Simpress, You might have heard this name. It's a worldwide. And they are also into online printing services, small format applications, something like what Print Shop is doing, Milab Bhai is doing. And they have offset, and they also had a digital sheet fed, bigger format, B2 format machine. They went for an inkjet transition. Why did they go? This gentleman, who is the CMO of the company, says that they wanted to fill the gap between existing sheet fed and the digital laser technology that they had it. Second was they were looking for a high performance and productivity because they were having certain challenges. And we all know that US and Europe market is even more advanced than us in terms, because labor cost is very, very important there. And it's more important than the equipment because it's so expensive there. For them, performance and productivity is like do or die situation. And they are also looking for equipment which can really give you offset-like quality, look and feel. Important is look and feel. Offset-like quality is not important. Look and feel is more important. So what they installed? They installed a inkjet high-end equipment, and see what changed for them. 10 to 15% of their offset volume and larger amount of that toner-based equipment got transferred to this machine because the equipment was able to deliver a high-quality standard. And their uptime increased by 20%, cost saving was 25 to 30%, which is huge. In Indian circumstances, the numbers could be very different if we have to do a sort of a discussion on that front, because labor is comparatively cheap here in terms of compared to the European and US market. But times have changed. Even if it is cheap, but it cannot have an answer to the automation that we are looking at. It's a manual. At the end of the day, it's manual. It's not a question of costly or cheap. It's a question of manual or automation. That's a bigger question that is there on the table to be answered. The last part, I'm not going to talk much about it here. Sorry. We have a very wide portfolio as far as the organization Canon is concerned, right from a toner base to cut sheet inkjet, continuous inkjet, catering to all the segments of the printing that we talk about, whether it's a book printing, it's a commercial printing, maybe a bit of a photo printing, transactional printing, whatever we call of, we are there in all the spaces. We have an equipment, a dedicated equipment for all the segments and spheres of the printing requirement. And as a company, our motto is very clear. We believe in the power of print. And whatever technology we are developing, whatever offerings we are giving, is just keeping that ethos in mind, the power of print. Print has to be there. Print Zindabad. And that's the motto of our technology development. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gurjit, for that wonderful presentation on inkjet equipment and how inkjet is going to take over compared to toner. I don't know. I am not a technologist, but if you say that it is the time for inkjet, then I will go with what you say.